Hey beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. I'm Josie with Awakened Soul, and we're here for a reading about the person on your mind and your connection to each other. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you're having a beautiful day or night whenever you're joining in for today's reading. In our pop-up reading here today, we are going to be talking about your person's thoughts of you so far today. And we are talking about today from whenever you are watching this reading, not necessarily when it was posted, so I trust you're here whenever you're meant to be. As always, listen to your intuition, take messages if, when, and how they resonate, and leave behind any that do not, as this is a collective reading. Please never force anything to fit. It could have been a specific message meant for a specific person. So what we're going to do here today is get started with the oracle cards that I have pulled for us. When we're all said and done with this section, we're then going to hop into the tarot, where we'll pull more details out, get any extra information I can. And then after that, we will get to the channeled messages portion, as well as the tiles, charms, and astrology dice section. While he's popping in, I hear him in the background. That is for extra info and confirmation. You may see their name, zodiac placements, important symbols or words for the connection for confirmation. And then, as always, we'll end today's reading with a message just for you from universe. So definitely recommend sticking around till the end. It's always good to do a reset. It also helps to boost up the energy and set you off on a good note, I guess we could say. So I'm excited you're here. I'm glad you're joining in. I hope you're having a beautiful day or night. If you find yourself resonating with today's messages, please let me know by hitting the like button and subscribe for more in the future. I do not think we're going to be doing an extended for today's reading, but if we do, if I feel called to like mid-reading, I will certainly let you guys know, and you can always find my extendeds over on Patreon or linked down below in the description box of the video if there is one, so we shall see. I'm going to go ahead and get going now though, you guys. Let me introduce you to the cards. First up, we have the wolf, beaver, and cheetah. We have number 42, the flamingo. Find elegance in your life and actions. Number 14, the snake. Shed, renew, and heal. And we have 43, the camel. Endure difficulties with patience and resilience. We also have codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. Religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. We also have the dead end, the fault line, and the creator. Before we begin, I want to mention that this card to me is highlighted because as I was pulling these cards, this was the last deck I pulled from. This card wanted to come out with the fault line, but it felt kind of weird and it didn't come out on top, so I shuffled it back in, which is part of my process. I'm rather picky about how cards come out. If they come out weird, or if I feel like I just need to reshuffle to be sure, I always do that. And if it comes back out again, which it did, I trust that it's happening for a reason. And then when that happens, I usually highlight that card. So later in the reading, I'm going to be reading from the guidebook because I'm feeling called to get that information out and kind of just read it to you guys. I don't know what else to say. So we'll get there when we get there. So again, we're talking about your person's thoughts and feelings about you today. However, I want to mention, I don't think this is like just a today thing in this case. I feel like these are thoughts your person has had before. This isn't the first time they're thinking those thoughts, and it's probably something that's been on your person's mind at least a few other times. Geez, Wally. What are we doing right now? He is like going nuts. Okay, anyway. Yes, we all hear you, and we also hear you scratching the furniture, which is lovely. I'm sure anybody who's a cat owner out there right now just knows the joy of cats scratching furniture and how lovely that is. But anyway, eventually, I don't know if I'm the only one out there or not. If you're a cat owner, let me know your thoughts on this. But with him, Like, I've tried scratching posts, I've tried just about everything. He tends to pick, oh my gosh, and now he's knocking down the blinds. Okay, that's not cool, sir. Okay. Anyway, I always have like a sacrifice piece of furniture, like a small storage ottoman or something like that, that it's like, okay, if you're going to scratch it, just go for it at this point, because he won't do scratching posts. He won't do like those little scratching pads. He always just picks one piece of furniture, and it's like, I always just have like the sacrifice piece of furniture where it's like, fine, just scratch it to your heart's content and I'll get a new one when I need to. I don't know if that's just me or not, but right now it's a little storage ottoman. Yes, you're knocking down blinds, you're going nuts. Okay, everybody is giving you attention. So, all right, why don't you come on my lap for a minute so we can read without the crying. Okay, all right, getting back to the messages now, you guys. So what I want to touch on today so far, or first off, I guess I should say, it seems like your person is very much focused on like long-term compatibility with you. I don't know where the two of you are at in your connection right now, but it seems to me like they're very much focused on compatibility, how this is going to work, if this is going to work, what's getting in the way, what's creating a blockage, what needs to be changed. If they're just thinking about like long-term potential, like, is this really going to be compatible in the long term? It could be that right now the two of you are faced with some obstacles or some difficulties that are just like really, really heavy at this time. It doesn't necessarily even have to be like between the two of you in the connection. It could be other people outside of it. It could be just life circumstances, job related, you name it. But they're thinking about like, are we going to be able to pull through this? Is this something we can work out? Is this something that allows us to, you know, move forward in the future? Or is this going to be too much to handle? And I don't think that they're questioning it because they want to walk away from you at all whatsoever. I think that they're actually in problem solving mode. Like they would rather fix it. They're in solution finding mode, I guess we could say. Now, I want to talk about this section right up here, okay, next, I guess we should say. It could be that there are religious factors at play here. Maybe the two of you have very differing religious or spiritual beliefs, especially for those of you that have like a really tight-knit family, or if your person does, or if there are like strict religious beliefs in that one of you has, okay? I feel like there are other family members at play here though, with the wolf and the beaver. Both of these cards talk about like soul family and literal family and cultural upbringing and like a family you would want to build and create together potentially. And so I feel like there might be some pretty major religious or spiritual belief differences between the two of you, and that's something that your person has been thinking about a lot today. With the keep in mind card, keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. So this person has been thinking about their draw to you, their attraction to you, how they feel like this is overwhelmingly a good connection, but there might be some pretty major differences between the two of you, possibly with how you want your family structure to be, maybe with your religious or spiritual beliefs. And those are some pretty big deals, to be honest with you guys, when it comes to like long-term compatibility in relationships and in connections. You could have great chemistry, you could have great financial compatibility, you could have great emotional compatibility, but if one person is like super religious and the other person is not, or if one person is spiritual, the other person isn't, or is religious, that can sometimes create really, really big barriers in overall compatibility with a person. You know, if somebody wants to go to church on Sunday, every Sunday, and then on Wednesdays, and wants to, you know, always have these, you know, specific like religious routines within their family structure, if that's expected of them by their family, And then the other person is like, okay, but I don't want to have anything to do with that. It can create some pretty big compatibility issues in the long term if you don't figure out a way to like meet in the middle or agree upon things, or if you like can't get over those differences, you know what I mean? And so it could be that that's something that this person is thinking about a lot today. There could also be addiction issues here or codependency issues. I'm not getting whether or not that's pointed at you or your person or both of you, or just in general. Maybe somebody grew up in a very codependent household and maybe that is like a belief system or an attachment that they still have. It doesn't necessarily have to be religious or spiritual stuff. It could even just be patterns and habits that have been formed for a really long time, and those are starting to create difficulties, okay? What I'm seeing here is your person is thinking about how to be persistent with this, be patient with the process. This is something that they're hopeful is not going to lead to a dead end, but they feel like it's something that needs to be discussed or resolved sooner rather than later, because like it's starting to create cracks in the foundation of your connection. So it's definitely something your person is thinking about needing to address sooner rather than later, okay? Because they're already seeing some divisions, some divides, and some difficulties. Now, what I'm seeing here is that your person respects your background. They respect your belief system. They respect who you are as a person. And so they may have an open mind to figure out how to make this work, even if there are some pretty big differences between the two of you. They may be opening their mind a little bit, and they may also be open to creating something new with you. I'm going to start reading a little bit from the Creator archetype card now, because I'm going to be referencing that during the rest of the reading here. With the Creator, we have the Artist, the Alchemist, and the Innovator. Okay, hold on a second. I might have to put him in the other room, you guys. I know everybody loves Wally, but I also have to focus, and sometimes he makes it very difficult to focus. So we will see. This is your final warning, sir, and then we're gonna have to go in the other room, okay? Final warning. All right, so we have the Creator. The first archetype in the trio of existence is not intimidated by darkness or lack. They know that from the void, creation inevitably emerges. With meager, minimal, and outlandish materials, the Creator reveals a new image. They make the empty room resonate with healing sounds. They generate bounty from the seed that others tossed away. Though generative, this archetype annihilates preconceived notions of what is possible, leaving unexpected openings in the wake of its destruction. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and talk about that. Like we were just saying, maybe this person is like I feel like you're very different than the usual type of person they date, or they may be very different than the usual type of person you date. Like they're not your typical type, okay? And so your person today has been thinking about that difference, that void, that gap between the two of you, and it seems almost impossible maybe from the outside, but from their perspective, they're like, okay, we're gonna figure out how to make this work. All right, I'm gonna go put Wally away real quick, you guys. Sorry, but I gotta be able to focus, and he's in a mood. So, where are you, sir? Come here. Hi. I warned you. Yep, I did. You gotta go away for a little bit now so I can focus. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Okay. I think your person is open to creating something new and creating something that's going to work for the two of you, is basically what I'm getting at here. They're acknowledging that there's a big barrier in maybe your beliefs, your values, your religious or spiritual beliefs, maybe in your habits, patterns, or upbringing. They feel like you're very different in a few different areas, but they're willing to create something that works for the two of you. But they know this has to happen soon, because you're already starting to have some pretty major cracks in your foundation. They're like, okay, we need to step up and figure this out now before we get further in and create like a huge mess for ourselves that's difficult to get out of. That's basically what I'm getting from this, is they want to try something different and something new. And again, it could relate to like your religious beliefs, your family structure, it could be your upbringing, it could be other family members involved in the situation, but they want to figure out something that's going to work for the two of you. Okay, the last thing I want to mention here is that with the cheetah, we have divine masculine energy. Everybody has both within us. I feel like I give this speech every time, but your person seems to be in a very strong divine masculine energy here today. They're wanting to figure things out. They're wanting to solve problems. They're wanting to take action. They're not wanting to sit by and receive. They're not in like receptive mode right now. They're very much in action taking mode. Okay. All right, so now let's get into the tarot. We'll see if we get more details out or if there's anything else that wants to come up that your person has been thinking about today. Let's see. Okay. And how is everybody doing so far today? I hope you're having a beautiful day. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we have the World as our first card here. The World talks about endings. It talks about things coming to a close or completion, cycles, closing out. I often relate it to the energy of like angel number 999, just the energy of completion. Your person is like, okay, enough is enough. Like it's time to close out a really difficult cycle and find something new, is basically what I'm getting here, okay? And we had those two come out together. This is a lot to unpack. Okay. All right, and we're taking those as like a pair. Let me have a sip of my water real quick, you guys, and then we'll get into the rest of the reading. Okay, so I don't think I said it out loud. Okay, and just to make sure, we have the World, the Page of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, 10 of Swords, the Empress, the High Priestess, the Ace of Cups, and the 4 of Wands. The only zodiac sign I'm seeing right now is the Empress, but we'll get to more of them later on in like the next section of the reading here. Wow. Your person really wants to get down to the good stuff, and I think family structure and like higher level commitment is something that they're really pondering about today. When you're finding this reading, they're really thinking about that, like what they want their long-term future to look like, the type of partner they want to have, the type of family structure they want to have. That just seems to be on their mind really heavily today, okay? I feel like at one point in time, your person was like maybe a party type, or they were always out with their friends, or they weren't taking life all too seriously. I don't think that was like too far in the past either. Like, I feel like that chapter of their life was somewhat recent, okay? I don't think it was like 10, 15 years ago. I feel like that stage of their life was somewhat recent, okay? And so it's like, this is maybe the first time they're actually trying to get serious about what they want their future to look like, and serious about like a long-term relationship with long-term compatibility. This is something that they're thinking about a lot today. Like, what do they want their future to look like? What kind of partner do they want to have? How do they want to raise potential children? Or if they already have kids, you know, how do they want things to go in the future with them? Or, you know, maybe family and their culture and their religious belief structure is really important to them. And maybe they're like, okay, what type of partner do I want to have that's going to align with my beliefs? And this is just something that they're thinking about a lot today. And it's pretty heavy for them, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like they're feeling hurt. Like, they feel like maybe there's misalignment here, and they're confident that it's something that the two of you could possibly work through, but at the same time, it feels like a burden to them. Like, they feel like this needs to be solved and figured out sooner rather than later, or it's just going to get worse and worse. Because again, there's this energy of like the foundation cracking beneath your feet. With the fault line card, this talks about like an analogy with like walking over a frozen lake and hearing the cracks under your feet. It's like maybe you were in denial of it for a while, like you knew something was going to happen, but you were trying to deny it. But now the cracks are like totally present and you're like, okay, we can't deny this anymore. It's the elephant in the room. That's no longer invisible. We have to like face this head on because it's inevitable. Something is going to come crashing down if we don't. That's the kind of energy your person has right now. Okay. I feel like this person is also trying to envision what you want. They're trying to see your point of view. They're trying to understand where you're coming from at this time. And I think that they're beginning to be more open to like serious heart-to-heart talks about this, I guess. With the Ace of Cups and the Four of Wands, like this specific combo from this specific deck, especially like with the analogy we have here, is really making me think of like marriage or a proposal or an engagement. We have that energy present with the Four of Wands. It's also present with the Ace of Cups, let alone here with the image on this card. We have somebody that almost like metaphorically is opening up a ring box, right? And so I feel like maybe that's something your person has been considering, or they've been considering having that higher level commitment with you in the future. And they're like, okay, but before we get to this, we need to figure out all the other stuff first, because we shouldn't be taking this step unless everything else is in order. You know what I mean? Okay. So let's get into the rest of the reading here, you guys. I'm going to do the tiles, charms, and astrology dice next, and then after that, we'll get some channeled messages out. This is meant to be for extra info and confirmation. You may see their zodiac placements or yours. You may see names, initials, you name it, okay? I'm going to roll this like roughly 4 times. We'll see what comes out. First up, we have Leo, Sun, and North Node. Leo, Sun, and North Node. We have Sagittarius, Moon, and Mercury. Sagittarius, Moon, and Mercury. Taurus, Venus, and Saturn. Taurus is also ruled by Venus. And then last but not least, we have Aquarius, Uranus, and Jupiter. I believe Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Aquarius is also ruled by Uranus. Okay. I'm seeing the word tan. Okay. Also have a blank charm right there. And we have a Y. And we also have a G. Okay. You're welcome to take your time. We have a lot of doubles coming through, 2 A's and 2 N's. Not a whole lot of letters wanted to come out today. We have a red rose. I'm always curious if it's going to be a red rose or a blue rose, because they're very different messages when they come out. A red rose does symbolize romantic connection, romantic love, like deep romantic, intimate love between partners, okay? So I feel like your person does see that with you. However, we do have this charm here, which I often take as like maybe a love triangle, third party energy. We also have a square within it. So there could be like multiple parties factoring into this connection. Again, somebody's family or potential family, belief structures could be playing a role here in, you know, something that the two of you are going to have to figure out and work out together. Not surprised. We also have a flower key. To me, I take this message as like the key to this happiness, the key to this success, to things working out and resolving is opening up, kind of like a flower in bloom. The key to this is learning how to be open and expressive. Okay? And being honest with one another. Not like hiding things or building resentment or frustration. And I think the two of you may have been in denial about some stuff, and it's like right now you're being asked to open up. They also, like, as I was setting this down, just showed me like this very specific charm in the bowl that's like identical almost to this card I referenced earlier. It's a oyster with a pearl inside, okay? So pearls themselves could be an important symbol to this connection, or that could also be saying like, you know, higher level commitment is coming in, or it's going to be presented as an opportunity soon in the connection. And it's important to like have everything in order before that happens. Okay, let's get a few channeled messages out from your person to you now. What they would say to you if they felt like they could be completely open and honest. Oh my goodness, Wally. Okay. All right, so first up we have, I bury myself in work to forget you. I want you and I look for you everywhere. I did see energy of this come through in the beginning of the reading. I guess I didn't really touch on it, but between the beaver and the cheetah cards, it does talk about ambition, drive, work ethic, being a hard worker. So your person may be like the classic workaholic type. If they're stressed out about something, they might be the type of person that's like, okay, I'm gonna go fix something, I'm gonna go to work, I'm gonna do this, that, and the other. Like anything productive I can do to just get my mind off of whatever I'm stressed out about. So it could be that maybe your person is taking on some extra work, or they're trying to be distracted at work to not think about these problems. Like I keep jumping back to this analogy where it's like the foundation beneath the feet of this connection is starting to crack, but maybe the two of you have been in denial of it, but it's beginning to crack to the point where like you're about to fall through. You better acknowledge this and figure it out soon before it gets worse, you know? We also have I want you and I look for you everywhere. I feel like this is your person seeing signs about you, feeling your energy present with them. If you live or work or exist near them, you know, maybe they're always on the lookout to see you around town or your car, or something like that too. It's clear that this person wants things to be successful with you. Okay. Woo. We have, I'm going to call you soon. So that can be taken literally. This person may be giving you a call soon, or possibly even during this reading. I'm focused on my career right now. Like, yeah, again, they're trying to distract themselves with work or projects or anything that they can do to keep themselves busy and not focused on the problems between the two of you. We also have trust me, and I'm trying to act more responsible. It could also be that like this person is like really focused on building a future for themselves, or maybe they're trying to be more of like a provider or somebody that is able to bring more materially to the table, because it seems like family and stuff is really important to this person. So it could be that they're trying to be more responsible. They're trying to make that happen in this connection, or to be able to pull their weight here. And so it could also be that maybe like they're overworking themselves so that they can, you know, bring more to the table. We also have you are my everything, and I'm tired of listening to what everybody else has to say about us. Okay. I do feel actually that I'm going to do an extended for today's reading. I want to talk about like what this third party influence is. Okay. So if you know that it's not necessarily like just issues between you and your person, if you think that there are third parties involved, or like if there's outside pressure coming in to this connection from other people, we'll unpack that a little bit more in the extended, just because I feel like for some of you out there, like it's not issues between you and your person necessarily. It's like family pressure, it's religious pressure, it's something like that. So we'll unpack that more in the extended. It seems to me, if that's you, if this message is for you, that your person is kind of sick and tired of everybody else having like their influence on how this connection is going, or what the two of you should or shouldn't be doing. I feel like this reading is reminding me of another reading I filmed not too long ago. It's reminding me a lot of that one. So you'll know if you know that this is for you, if you also saw that other message. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna do an extended. I will link it below in the description box and the pinned comment. So if you'd like to join in for that, you're more than welcome to. I'm gonna pack that up. We're gonna get you a couple of personal messages first before we close the reading off. Okay, perfect. So your personal message number 1 is the rabbit with cleverness. You have been going through difficult time. If you've been going through difficult times, it is time to think outside the box and find a solution. This is also a reminder to avoid neglecting your creative side. If you have let creative projects lapse, it may be time to pick them back up again. That's interesting. Are you guys connecting the dots, or is that just me? Because we did have the creator archetype highlighted earlier today, and this is talking about finding abstract solutions to problems. So in this case, this might relate to this connection. This is always meant for just you, but I'm seeing this also relating to the rest of the reading. Your personal affirmation is, I choose to enjoy my life. And as always, you're welcome to affirm that with me and the collective down below in the comments if you would like to. I'm gonna go ahead and pack today's reading up though and hop into that unexpected extended. If you would like to join over there, you are more than welcome to. You can click the link in the description box. And if you're not, I wanna thank you again for joining in for today's reading. You're absolutely amazing. I hope you know that, and I hope you have a blessed rest of your day or night. Bye for now.